What's going on, gamers? So we have a final build comparison here on Doom the Dark Ages. It's going to get pretty interesting here. We got PC, PS5 Pro, and Xbox Series X, and PlayStation 5 facing off here. Obviously, PC wins, but when we're going to look at what's better for the console version, I'm going to say when it comes to performance, the Series X wins because it has a better CPU. You know, their CPU goes all the way up to 3.8 gigahertz, and they got a multi-thread version that goes up to 3.6. It, in totality, since they have a 0.3 percentage 0.3 gain on per thread gives them a 2.4 gigahertz advantage in CPU speed, which is a wise move by Microsoft because the more games start coming out, the more CPU demand they have. So we'll start to see the diminishing returns and the bottlenecks on PlayStation 5 Pro because it's using the same CPU as the PS5. So, in CPU heavy games, the Series X will perform better, though the Pro could give you better image quality and all that. It's supposed to as a better GPU, but it can't utilize it to the fullest degree because of the CPU in there. So in here, we're going to see that, and then we're going to see some crazy advanced ray tracing, path tracing features on PC. It gets pretty interesting. So like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you guys think. All right, here we go. We'll be doing this in 4K. PC right off the bat. Yep, see a downgrade. Okay, let's move this up a little bit. Looks a little bit clear. All right, look at this reflection here on PC. That's absolutely incredible. Just look at how clear it is too. It just looks so good. This is what I mean by like advanced ray tracing, path tracing. That looks good on consoles, but it's nowhere near what PC was showing. Same. They're very identical. Oh yeah, major difference. They look the same. It looks a little bit more clear. So we see a major difference on the PC version over there on the Next, and all these look the same. The Pro looks a little bit more clear, so I think there should be a bigger difference. So we see there's not a major change when it comes to consoles. They're kind of identical. Another thing to notice is that there's not a PSSR implementation. The developers skipped PSSR on this game, and they just used normal methods and upscale it to higher resolution and sliders. It's not fully integrated with that. So I find that very interesting. I wonder how they're going to implement future updates if Sony plans on updating things, just to let people know about that. Yeah, big difference. PC version looks way better. Looks a little bit more clear, but it's not major. See, we see that huge difference on the PC side, but the other ones, they look very identical. On the Pro, it looks a little bit more clear. All right, we're looking at Vegetation. Now here, by the way, here's where I noticed that the Pro definitely does show that it has an improvement. We're going to look right here when we get to compare it all, and we'll see a little bit of clarity. But we see the downgraded Vegetation compared to PC. Interesting. Now watch the improvement here. That clearly looks more clear, as you see. So we're going to pause it here. PC version looks superior by a mile. We see that here. And then when we go over to the Pro, just right here, it looks more clear than the other two. So you do see a difference here. It's not major, but it's definitely a difference. And it's something that I want to see. And then PC just looks just too good. But like I said, the Pro versions look too bad. And the Xbox and PS5 pretty much look similar. Definitely when it comes to Vegetation. We see that. All right, right off the bat, let's pay attention here because this is where frames get interesting. What I want to show you guys is how much the PlayStation 5 CPU cannot hold up to the Series X. Pay attention to that. Obviously, the S is included in here, but we're not going to take that to compare to anything else. But between these two, this is what we're seeing here. You would expect this to perform better, but it has the same CPU. You'll see the X hold up more. So let's pay attention to this. Let me get off camera for a little bit. I look at the PS5 graph. See that? Now watch how it has problem. That's 58 already, 57 right there. Series X still at 60, 58, 59. You see the wave right there, right? 50, dude, it dropped down to 49 frames back there, guys. We saw that, right? The Series X did not drop down once. The Pro just hit 59. Which, you know, that's not nothing crazy because it's running at high resolution, but even still then, you saw when there was crazy stuff going on, the PS5 version was dipping like crazy right there. So now we get PC gameplay here. So like we saw that struggling right there. That's what I was trying to show people, like the CPU difference in the bottleneck. It was literally like it was shaking, and then it went all the way down to 49 and then boosted right back up. When you have 11 FPS difference, yeah, this says a lot about, it doesn't matter how much more power you would have or not, even on the Pro, right? But if you don't have that CPU, which needs a certain balance with these games coming out, you're going to see some dips. So you see a lot of PlayStation 5 fanboys getting mad too, saying, nah, there's no way. I'm like, yeah, the Series X version is the better version. Now, it doesn't matter what console you have or what you're into. We're here to report the truth here, not fanboy, because that gets in the way of people getting honest results. You need to be strong enough to move that out the way and just tell people the truth. That's what I like doing. So that's not an argument anymore. It's clear the Series X version is better than the PlayStation 5 version. CPU-wise is the difference here more than anything. And here's the PC version, running on a 5070 Ti, 80, 90. The least you see is 164 frames. This is our max settings, y'all. This is crazy. So on my PC, I know on my 4070, I'll be able to run this at least like 80, 90 frames on like ultra settings. So, man, look at those frames. Looks insane. 333 frames on a 5090 on everything maxed out. Now we're seeing some different things with the final builds here that we didn't see in previous other videos, which is why I had to do this, because Doom's around the corner. I gotta go through the DLCs, which I'm already starting part 1. Definitely a downgrade from PC. Color change. A little bit more clear, but not nothing major. Reflections on PC are insane here. Look at that with the puddles and the water drops too. It's so good. You see the dumbing down of the water ripple effects big time, the texture and resolution of them. I guarantee you when we compare, you're gonna see so much clarity. It still looks good though, but that's the difference I want to see when I see, you know, from PS5 to PS5 Pro. Like not maybe that huge, but like, come on, only too similar. Look at the PC version, y'all. Watch this. There's a major difference there. Xbox and PlayStation, same thing. Now on the Pro, are we gonna see an improvement? Bro, it should be better than that. Y'all see what I mean? Look at that major difference. But like I said, they're not fully optimizing it over here, so it's kind of a shame. Though it is optimized, but it's they didn't do the pisser aspect with the RT with that. And like I said, they're avoiding the PSSR. So it's getting kind of the same treatment on this, but running at higher settings, which is kind of hard to really tell. Whereas like you look over here, you're like, damn. See what I mean? They're too similar. And then there's going to be people like, you know, are you trying to downplay the Pro? It's like, how? I'm just telling you the truth. They look too similar. And then there's something going around now. No, yeah, you see what Sony was saying? The Microsoft devs have did it twice in a row now. Whatchamacallit didn't show a major advantage to Indiana Jones, and now doing the Dark Ages, the developers are making the PS5 Pro version not look that much better on purpose. I'm like, that's not necessarily the case. They're just not implementing PSSR because they're not using it. But could they probably do that more down the line? We'll see. But it's not like they ignored it. You still saw some improvements on other images, like I showed you that grass vegetation, so they clearly did do that. It's just not showing a huge difference. There's high diminishing returns because of the CPU and other things. Looks the same. A little bit more clear on the draw distance. See, we see that here. So once again, if you look at this rock, it looks more clear on the Pro. Same thing back here. Like you're going to get better image clarity. Like I could see that, and then obviously on PC, you know, it's no contest with the rock textures and all that. Okay, shadows. Definitely a downgrade. Looks a little bit clearer. Yeah, it's kind of hard with the shadows at this angle. I mean, they do what they can though. Level of detail. A little bit, not major. All right, here we go again. This part is not demanding as the other ones though, so I don't think we're gonna see dips here because there's not crazy demands. If we pay attention to this right here, they're both holding up pretty well, and this kind of makes sense. So I thought they should have done a different section here. Then obviously there's a main difference when it comes to the PC version right there too. So we see right here, our biggest result was in that one section where the PlayStation 5 bottlenecked big time compared to the Series X. And we got to get our answer here. Digital Foundry said the same thing. They weren't lying because this guy's doing the same test results and we saw the same thing. So like I said, there was a lot of people debating about that. I'm like, okay, I'm going to do another comparison. And as a matter of fact, that was an early build comparison. This is the final build, as we see right here, final graphics comparison. So let me go ahead and give him a like. We got our answers here. The Series X is the winner in terms of value. I don't think the Pro is showing the value that it should, and that's just me being honest. Yeah, it looks a little bit clearer, but for $200 more, no, I'm not seeing the difference like I would see going from the Series S to the X, you know what I mean? So therefore, we're gonna have to wait on some future updates to see if they can optimize it even more to get more out of the machine. But I think right now, nothing's optimized bad, it's all fine. So let me know what y'all think about that. All right, y'all, peace out, have a great day.